we on? Are we in? Are we watching? What's up, people? Hope you're doing great. It looks like y'all can't really see me. I don't know. I'm looking at myself in the camera. Still can't really see me. Let's work on that a bit here before we start. Maybe we can back this up. That's okay. Let's try that. How are we looking? People chime in. Come on, can you see me? Yo, not bad. All right, what's up, buddy? How you doing? Welcome, people. Welcome, welcome. Kind of feel like a newbie right now just because normally I have my second phone to see, wow, I can't even speak, to see like comments and stuff, but I don't have that with me, so I'm just going to use the computer today. So I'm going to be a little bit all over the place, so just bear with me here to start. Gotta move some stuff around. There we go. How many phones do I have, Jeremy? Come on. You know I got a lot of phones here. I'll be right back. I'm just getting my my string. Oh shoot. I'm back. Looks like we'll start with my racket actually first. I'm stringing 2 rackets today. I got to string a demo for myself for a review. This is the Dunlop FX 500 Tour. Yeah, I've played it before, but I just never did like a separate review on it. And when I got it, I didn't have like, I had weight on it, so it was like customized to my spec by Racket actually from Tencom. So I actually never played it really actually with my string or with a weight. So we'll do that after. And then I have, of course, everybody knows my racket, hopefully by now. I play with the Radical Pro Customized. And this is also a review. This is Tourline Ether. Pretty sure it's Ether. Sounds better. But yeah, we're gonna get that rolling here. I don't know if Father Chris is watching, but he better be, because I don't have my Super Tour down here, and that's what I'm gonna be stringing the Dunlop with. So I don't really want to go back upstairs, so maybe he'll be able to get it for me. Sure, I could get it sent down to me. But yeah, I'm back. I'm back home. I was here on Wednesday, and today is Sunday, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 4 days-ish. We lost in the round of 32. Kind of sucks, but you know, it is what it is. There's next year, last year, best year. I know Jeremy's watching, he's one of my teammates, so hopefully we can make a good, deep run. The string I'm cutting out right now, I know you guys can't really see, it just might look like my Super Toro, but I think I'm allowed to say this, but it's a prototype actually string from Tourline that I will be doing a review on. It's, as of now, there's a couple different variations that they've sent me, so it'll be interesting to see what the other variations play like. And yeah, this one actually played quite well. I'm not going to go into too much detail though, because that can be kind of a review. But yeah, pretty solid. Doesn't even have any like writing on it, which is kind of weird. But yeah, just kind of vibing here. We are Sunday here. Haven't really played a whole lot since I've been home. I mean, I played this morning with somebody and went out 2 days ago really with my dad just to do a little bit of training, but been just kind of taking some time here to relax and kind of sit on my ass, because low key kind of deserve that. Jeremy, you know the vibes. Just kind of taking a break. I don't know where I put my cutters. It's not a good start. Oh, right here. So yeah, it's just nice to take a break and lounge a bit. And yeah, actually kind of focus on MP tennis here a little bit these next few weeks, because I haven't really been able to, you know, while I was at school or anything. So it's nice to kind of get back on this. We got a video coming out tomorrow morning, so stay tuned for that. I don't know. I don't even think the camera is on straight right now. That's so bad. It's crooked. What if we do this? Nope, that's worse. Yes, sir. There we go. That's better. So like I said, we're doing Tourmaline Ether 1.20 today. Should be, ooh. Definitely glossier than my Super Toro. It is, I talked to them today actually. They said it is a square shaped string and pretty stiff, but yeah, should be interesting. It's pretty thin actually, so a square string that's relatively thin and stiff. Interesting to see how it will play. I'm pretty sure Wasabi is a thicker gauge. Could easily check. I have some on the shelf there. I'm looking at it right now. But yeah, I got a lot of string reviews to do as well. Like I got rackets to do, but honestly the strings are fun as well because it makes the racket feel and play so different. So, oh shoot, I'm sure I got some questions here. My apologies for not looking in here. Technofiber 4S question mark. Vasco, I don't know what that means. Any interest in trying Blade Pro? Absolutely. If I could get my hands on it. I know that there is one Blade Pro that will be available for me when I go back to school to try. I don't really need to buy a Blade Pro right now. I think that would be just really silly for me. Even though I probably could, I don't know. I guess it's good. The racket market kind of thing right now is kind of fun because I'll get rackets like sent to me, and then I can sell them and then buy a racket to make another review about it. But I'm actually super interested to see how this plays. Rookie mistakes here. This room is not big enough to measure this string, so that's why I'm out of the frame right now. We're good. I'm back. What's up, Rafa, buddy? Hope you're doing good. I'm sure I'll see you soon. I'm playing Shediac here next week, so I'm sure I'll see you there. Are you responding to that? But yeah, I haven't really been doing a whole lot. Like this weekend, I visited with a couple friends, played tennis with one this morning, visited with my grandmother. It was my grandfather's birthday this evening. Watched the PGA championship tonight. Just kind of like laying low. What do we got in here? How many people are we? Hi Kate, how long does it take for you to get adjusted to a new type of string in your racket? Oh, good question. I mean, since I play with like my Super Tour right now, like I wouldn't actually say it takes a long period of time. Like when it comes to the demo process, like this ether that I'm putting in, like I will make the review and like obviously tell you guys what I think about it, and I will be able to tell like what the differences are between my Super Tour and most strings. But like, I guess for me, I would never put a string in my racket and go play a tournament with it because I wouldn't know how it would play like under pressure and like how it would react to me under pressure. But like, I think I put my Super Toro in the fall, and I played a match in January maybe. But like, I actually don't think it takes that long. Like once I'm comfortable with something, like I'm comfortable with it. Like that was kind of how it was with my Super Toro. Like I was just comfortable with it right away. Like it just felt right. Some strings it's like that, some strings are not like that. Like for me, Confidential was like that. And that like there's like polys that I like, and then there's polys that I don't like. So like polys that I don't like would obviously just take longer to get used to. But like I wouldn't have enjoyment using them. So, I don't know if that answers your question. There's not like an exact date because I'm not really like changing strings that much. Like in the last like 2 to 3 years, like I've really only used 2 types of strings. Like I used my Super Tour this year, and then like I used my Confidential pretty much through, actually not even pretty much, all through college. So Super Tour was all this year. And then Confidential was the previous 2 years. So hopefully that answers your question. WhatsApp. I need my dad to bring I need him to bring my Super Tour down. I only have one set of it down here, so that's why I'm going to be at the computer in a sec. I need to message him. But I actually got a feeling I might like this ether. It's actually funny. I don't know. Wow. Okay, it's right there. It looks extremely similar. One second. I got to get another string. Like the color of the string is like low key. Like this is the ether. I hope I gotta figure that out so I don't butcher it in the video. It looks the same as Restring Zero. Like the color is like so close to the same. I don't know if you can see. Like, so it'll be interesting. I mean, they're completely different from what I've heard. So we'll have to put that to the test though. Can you bring my Super Toro down? Okay, cheers. Oh, Dad, you're in here. I just sent you a text. Please bring my string Super Toro down. There's a couple reels in my room. Okay, we got some stuff in here. What's the best racket in stock form? Whew. That's so tough for me to answer. There's a lot of good rackets. Actually, the video we're doing tomorrow, or that's coming out tomorrow, is the Pure Aero Origin, and that racket is amazing stock form. So I guess I could softly say that that's a really good racket stock form, but like honestly, like every single racket on the market right now is like, it's like so good. So like for me to give like, hey, my Radical Pro is the best stock form, like that's kind of like, that would be like stupid of me to say that, because literally like all the head top rackets, all the Wilson top rackets, all of them stock form, like they're so good. So it's hard for me to say, and like yeah, it's really just hard for me to say because I actually don't like my Radical Pro that much stock, but when it's customized, I like it. Coach Chris asked if there's any new videos soon. I just said that we have our Pure Aero video coming out tomorrow, which will be pretty sick. What's up? What's up? Long time no see. Yes and no. I'm sorry about that. It's been a very long academic and athletic year for me, so the last month has been a little bit slower on videos than maybe I would have hoped, but thank you. We got delivery from Coach Chris here, very kind. Yeah, so it's been it's just been a long last couple weeks and month with the end of the year and just exams and traveling for tennis, and it's just been tough to get videos out and stuff. If you'd be willing, I'm switching away from mine and I would be happy to let you try one. The Blade Pro, I mean, that would be great, but I mean, you would have to send it to me in the mail and that would be like a whole thing. I'm sure I will get a review done on it probably in the fall. I think our assistant coach at the school has one. So I can definitely try his. Also, I think one of my teammates is going to start using that racket here very shortly, but I could be wrong. Do you know, do you string different tension, lockout versus electric? You know what? Great question. I do not actually. I'm pretty confident in my stringer actually. Like, I've strung on it for like a couple of years now and like, it's fine. It does the job. I'm not like super, you could say anal enough even to notice the difference. Our electric stringer at school is really good though. So like I'm sure like there is a little bit of a difference, but I just don't notice it. So yeah, that's, I don't know. Kind of tough to say. I mean, if I was smart, I probably should string maybe like a pound or two higher on this one, just knowing that it's a crank, but I don't. But I probably should. See, some people said hello there below that comment. Hello, hello. Thanks for stopping in. Rafa asks, what tension do I play with? I play with 50 pounds. I think that's probably around 23 kilo, maybe like 22 and a half. I've been playing with 50 probably for the last year. I was back and forth for a while, and then when I got my Radicals, I went down in tension. I recently tried the Radical Pro. It was surprisingly springy. The feel could be better, as in softer, in stock form. Extreme Tour, less springy. That's honestly interesting to hear. I mean, I didn't really have that experience. I feel like my Extreme did that more, to be honest. It has more spin potential. It has more of a launch, but everybody is different. So yeah, I mean, Rafa, you string at 54. I actually used to string at 54. Last year I did 54, 52. And then before that, I did 54 full bed. And I actually did 54, 52 because I actually think that's Carlos's tension. So I was just kind of messing around with that. Not that I would play like Carlos, but it actually felt pretty good. And then I was just like, you know what, time to go with a lower tension. So I did full bed 50. A lot of people are playing with lower tensions, like across the board. Just seems to be a common thing. Not exactly sure the reasoning behind it. Maybe it's people are learning to be able to control. Strings are getting better. They can put things at a lower tension. Who knows? Tennis is always changing. Just like pretty much all sports. What do we got in here? Pure Strike 1820 is a great racket stock in my opinion with Grapple Snake M8. Honestly, that I'm sure would be a killer setup. Grapple Snake M8 is probably in my top 5 favorite strings for sure. That's my favorite Grapple Snake string. Tour Sniper's pretty solid. I did reviews on both of them. But I personally thought that M8 was the best one. What do you think of Jako Fonseca? I hope I didn't, or I hope I did. I totally butchered that name. I give up. You know what? I haven't watched much tennis. I think that's the guy that beat Novak, so I'm really sorry. Like I said, I was really, really busy right up until like a couple days ago. So I've actually not watched really much tennis in the last couple weeks. Just because I've been playing tennis myself. So I know that he had, if that's the guy, see, like I don't even know if that's the guy who beat Novak and he had a good run there in Rome. So I guess good for him. But other than that, like, it's pretty bad. I don't really know much about him. Sorry about that. It's just the way my time has been. Have you played with the Wilson Blade V9 1820 or any Wilson Blade 1820? And if so, what strings do you recommend? I've been thinking about either Tourmaline Caviar or maybe Restring Sync. Thoughts? I've definitely hit with one at some point over the last 5 years, but I never made a video about it because I only ever made videos and reviewed the 1619s. But I mean, it plays similar to the 1619 in a way, but it just has a tighter pound and you get more control out of it. I think Sync would be a good go. I think Sink plays much different than Caviar though, but you could try both. Sink is pretty tough though, like it's pretty stiff. Like if you can't handle it on your arm, then that could be a tough one. Like it plays so much like ALU, excuse me. Like if you've played with ALU, then you know what you're getting into there. But I mean, I think Sink is better than ALU. But yeah, I would say definitely go for it. I think Caviar might be the better setup, to be honest. I think it would be a little easier on your arm, but it might be a little too springy. But that's just my opinion. But 3-string Sink, Grapple Snake M8, and Tornot Silver 7 are great in the blade. I've heard really good things about that Torna string actually, and isn't it like so cheap too? Like I heard like Torna is like, at least I don't know if they've always had that Torna string before, but like their strings are so cheap as well. Like you can get some good bang for your buck on that. Rafa, what tension do you recommend? It depends what you're looking for. I think for younger players, you definitely shouldn't be going above 55. Because one, you might hurt your arm, and two, oh shoot, I just undid that. And two, number one, you hurt your arm. Number two, you can benefit from a lower tension because it's going to give you a little bit more power, just because it's a looser string bed, and juniors can benefit from that because they're not fully grown. So. When I was first starting, I actually had 48 tension, but it's definitely a feel thing. Everybody, I mean, I know some guys that play tension 60 pounds, and then I know some guys that are playing with 30. So it's like, you know, it's all personal preference. Have you ever trained with an ATP player? If you call Tennis Brothers an ATP player, I've played with him before. I'm trying to think. I've played with a guy that's had ATP points before, but you guys wouldn't know him. But yeah, I played with Tennis Brothers when I played in my ITF, but I don't know if you count that, but I did do that. But I've not trained or played with like Rafa or Novak or Roger or any top 10 guys or anything. There would have been a video already made about that if I did do that. For a square string, this ether is moving super smooth through the racket. Normally racket or strings that are like this are tough to string because they're sharp. Make sure if my phone was going to die because I have the battery pack on it right now, but I wasn't entirely sure how we were doing there. You think tennis is 90% serve? How is your serve speed? I think you mean like how's my serve coming? 90 is a little high for me. I don't know if tennis is 90% serve because if you think about it, if you couldn't hit a forehand, couldn't hit a backhand, couldn't hit a volley, couldn't run, but you could serve, and they got the serve back, I think you would lose pretty badly. But I understand what you're saying. Instead of saying serve, I think if you said first touches, I could maybe get on that train, but I still think 90% is really high. I mean, there's a reason why before you work on your serve in practice, you warm up your other shots. Because most times, at least in North American culture, we always do serve at the end of practice, unless you're doing a dedicated practice to serve. So I would probably say, if you're just talking about serve, maybe like 45, 50%, because I really think serve could really go a long way if you do have a good serve. If your serve is shit, then your game is shit, if you know what I mean. It's hard to get to a high level if you have a bad serve. Sorry for the profanities there. Serve and return are very important, yes. Any interested, oh, there's a couple comments coming in here. Sorry. Any interest in trying the newest Pure Strikes or the T-Fight ISO 305? The new Pure Strike, I think, is on the list for me. I don't know when I'll have it, but I'll probably have it by the end of the summer. I know that's part of, or that is a racket that is supposed to be arriving in the mail for me to do a review. So I'm not sure when that will be, but should be in the near future. Technofiber is tough. Not many people have Technofiber in Canada, so the only Technofiber I've ever reviewed is the TF40, and I did that last summer. If not caviar, what Tourline string would you think would be good in the blade? I know I want a good 17 or 18 gauge. I want control, but not dead. Good tension, maintenance, crisp. Bruh. Currently using 4G. Tourline doesn't really have anything that plays like 4G. 4G is really unique in my opinion. It's pretty stiff. The tension maintenance is really good, but it lacks in some other departments, I feel. You could actually try K-Pop or K-Pro, which is Caru's setup. But also, I was actually going to say you could try my setup as well. Like, put full bed Super Toro in there. You could put Absolute as well. That's a soft poly though, so you'd be getting more power out of it. But you're playing an 18-20 bed, so I mean, you have a pretty control-oriented racket. If you had a soft poly in there, it would probably feel good on the arm as well. But I would actually recommend full bed Super Toro or Caru's setup. Or you can, Wasabi X isn't a bad option either. Or you could, I don't know how this effort plays yet, but you could always throw that in there. I know you probably don't have millions of dollars to throw away at string though. Any favorite soft or more controllable strings? Play with head links right now. Like I just said, Tourline Absolute is a great soft string. Any of the strings that come from bigger brands that are soft at the end are good. Hyper G soft, Torbite soft is good. Lux One has their fair share of soft versions as well. Trying to think of some other strings here. I would recommend trying a hybrid. That generally helps people's arms. Is there much difference between D1 and D2 tennis player in terms of level? Whew, that's a loaded question. Let me ruminate on that for a good 20 seconds. Because I'm also biased because I play D2. Okay, if you take, who's the best? If you take, I don't know, I'm thinking of the best D1 school right now. If you take UCLA or Stanford or Kentucky or Texas is good, or Ohio State, I think is the #1 seed right now, and they play against us, man, we would get like smacked up against the side of the face. But if you take like a mid-tier D1, we would not get smacked, at least my team. Like there are some conferences and some schools that are much better than others in D1s. And then just like D1, D2, and D3, there's some really bad schools. Like, there are some bad schools that like play D1 as well, just like in D2. Except there's more bad D2 and D3 schools as there are D1. But like, in my time at SNU, we've played a couple D1s and won. So it just depends. Like, if you took the mid D1 and put it against the mid D2, on paper they should win. However, if you put Barry against any Northeast D1 team, Barry is going to destroy them. It's just the way it is. And it just depends on, yeah. Like, there's some teams that are just better than others. UTR College Fit is a really good way to look at schools and their level and stuff. What are we looking at here? Your serve speed series was awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that. We were 1 mile away to 130, but can't do anything about it. I actually have Super Toro, not tried it. Only used Toro Toro, Wasabi, and Wasabi X in crosses. Have you tried sinking crosses? If so, I guess if using 4G, I could use full beta Super Toro or sync. Yeah, you could try full beta Super Toro. I mean, full beta Super Toro is gonna play a little bit deader than the Toro Toro because that's just the way it is. Sync is gonna be probably a little bit more, well, not probably, it's gonna play more stiff and more control. I think the Toro's strings are going to be a little bit nicer on your arm and maybe a bit more power. What's up, Jeremy? How does one grind like Katie Murray? Guys, we're going to let you in on a big secret. Jeremy is a guy that plays on my team at SNU. And I wish I had one of my shirts that I have, that's a SNU shirt. It has Katie Murray on the back because that's what they call me. Just because my favorite player is Andy Murray, and like there's some shots that I'm hitting sometimes that resemble the king, Sir Andy Murray. So how does one grind like Katie Murray? Well, Katie Murray doesn't tell us secrets, okay? Katie Murray doesn't tell us secrets. If you get a pure strike to demo, try and make sure it is not over spec swing weight if possible. Would be nice to see a reviewer get one how it's supposed to be. I will definitely take that into consideration and weigh it before. Normally rackets these days are a little bit better than they probably were in the last 5-6 years. I think just because it became a big issue and people were noticing it. Thank you for the recommendations and answering my questions. No problem. That's why I'm here. MP Tennis at your service. Stringing away. I can't believe how easy this string is to string with. Normally, like, square strings are tough. I see a question there, one sec. What are my plans after college tennis? Coaching or pro? Wow, what a question. I was talking about that today. I will do tennis for as long as possible. That's what I've always said. Tennis is a very tough sport, as we all know, but I'm going to try and do it. What does that look like? Not quite sure. I got my first little taste playing in a pro event back in March. I played in an M25 in Bakersfield. was a really fun experience. Definitely learned a lot. Learned that my level is actually not that far. Just requires a little bit of work in the lab. And I got to change some things with my game. Deep down, I believe in myself. I believe I can do it. I'm lucky that I have a good support system that also believes in me. My dad played professional sports, so I've always had him in my ear, which is super cool. But I have one more year left. I will graduate with my bachelor and my master's at the same time next year, so I will be completely done school. And I will probably reside somewhere in the United States for a few years, whether that be Florida or California, and I will try to grind super hard there with some players in the South, whatever West or East Coast, and try and play in as many tournaments as possible and just see where I end up. If it goes south, as in not traveling, as in poor, then it's time to call it quits and move on. But I'm not done. I'm not done yet. I still have lots of tennis left in this body of mine. And yeah, so in short, you could say both. Pro and coaching, because if one wanted to get very technical, you could already say I already played pro because I played one qualifying match. But I don't count that. A pro is somebody that devotes their full time to it. And I'm currently not devoting my full time to a pro schedule. So yeah, that's kind of where I am with that. Well, I will always coach tennis, for sure. There will always be a tennis racket in my hand. Is it common? I think that's what you mean. For players to cheat on line calls in college? Woo! Of course it is. Cheating happens every day in college tennis. And you know what's worse is like, you can't do anything about it. There's nothing you can do about it. The only thing you can do is have an ump on every court. And unfortunately with D2, that's one of the different rules we have compared to D1. With D1, they have umps in the chairs on every court for the whole match, where we just have roaming umps. So it can be like, if somebody really wants to be nasty, as soon as the ref like turns their head, it's like, okay, time to cheat, you know what I mean? Some guys are pretty dirty. They'll do what they got to do to get a dub, even though most times it doesn't work, because like, at least in my brain, if you're cheating, like, it just means that like, well, number one, you're a poor sport. That sounds like so mom of me to say, but it's true. You're a poor sport. And number two, you're not that good. Like, you're really not that good if you're cheating. And you have really low confidence if you're cheating. Because you should have enough belief to be able to win without cheating. And I know people that have cheated. I know lots of people that have cheated. I see it every day against people that we play. It's tough to watch, especially when like an ump can't do anything about it, or they just like say, call was good, or call stands, or whatever they say. Yeah, I've been lucky enough that like I've never been like really greased on big points. But I also think that really starts from like the start of the match. Like, if you are a good sport, that generally goes a long way because a lot of the cheating happens when guys get in fights or they don't like the other guy. Like if you're a good guy or good girl like out of the gate, I don't know if it well, I think it does happen. It happens just as much in girls as it does guys. Like if you're a good sport right off the bat, you're less likely to get cheated. Have I ever tested Diadem Solstice Power String? Not that one. I believe that this is this string right here. I have not, but I have about 1 million of them in my stringing cave here. Like I have so many of them, and I just have not tried it at all yet. I actually have a lot. I have a ton of Diadem string. I wish it would take a lot of effort, but if I could show you all of the string that I have, it's too much. But yeah, I will get to that eventually. I actually have the Diadem Rackets that I have to review as well. I reviewed one back when I was at school earlier in the year, the Nova, which is quite underrated. But I have their Elevate series as well that's in my room that I need to get out on court with. Best string for tennis elbow, but looking for both spin and control. Found Hyper G too lively for my taste. You could try Hyper G soft. You could try, like I said earlier, any strings that are soft oriented that come with the word soft in them should work better for you. Obviously, natural gut is going to be your best friend, but not everybody can afford that. So also stringing a hybrid with a multi-filament would be good, or Tourline Absolute is a good option as well. So there's definitely a few options there for you. You're going to have a time if you play. I have heard about Mr. Grieger. He actually coaches one of the guys that we played against this year. When was that? Today's Sunday. On Tuesday we played Queens of last week. We lost. Womp womp. And the guy, I forget his name, he's not in the lineup, but he plays on their team, and Grieger is his coach. So, when did you start stringing? I'm missing a word there. When did you start stringing, and why a crank instead of a constant pull? I ain't that rich, guys. Come on, guys, come on. This stringer was actually the stringer at an indoor facility that I am nearby, and they were starting to host some pro events, and they needed to get an electric stringer for the players, so they sold this one to me, and it's been working great. I am spoiled with a electric stringer at school. But I mean, right now, I just don't have the money to put down on an electric stringer, and I just don't think I would. I mean, if I had like $3K to put down on a stringer, I think I could much put that to something else better. Unless if I was like a billionaire, then I would do it, but I ain't a billionaire. Now, if I had, I used to have the drop weight, and the upgrade from drop weight to crank is much larger from crank to electric. And that's just a fact, because a drop weight can be pretty all over the map. What racket do you think is the most underrated? Ooh. I'm thinking about this one here. I think that the most underrated racket is probably the Whiteout series. That racket, or that line at least, is a big sleeper. I think that another racket line that is very much, and you could say I'm biased, but I think that another racket that is also or the line that is really underrated is the Extreme line from Head. I used to play with the Extreme Tour. Every person that has ever laid their hands on an Extreme Tour has loved the Extreme Tour. I don't play with it anymore, but that's just a fact. Like, it's just good. And the reason why I say that is because the Extreme line gets put in the shadows by the Pure Arrow a lot. Rightfully so. Rafa uses the Pure Arrow. Who uses the Extreme? Berrettini? Come on. Who's better? Rafa is better. So, of course, they're going to sell more Pure Arrows. Even though I think the Extreme Tour is way better than like a Pure Arrow BS or something like that. So, first I would say the Whiteout series, really underrated. Really, really underrated. And then I would say the Extreme line from Head. I'm trying to think of another racket for you. I think Technifiber rackets in general are kind of underrated. Rackets that are overhyped, the Speed is overhyped. I'm sorry, but Wilson as a brand is overhyped. Even though I think the Pro Staff is really good, I think it's a little overhyped. The Blade, I'm sorry guys, it's overhyped. For some people, the Blade is unreal, but for some people, the Blade is just doggy. That's just the way it is. Of course, it's my opinion. But yeah, I would say Yonex. I think the Percept line right now is kind of hit or miss. More hits than the old VCore Pro line. I think the VCore 95 could be a hidden gem for some people. Now I'm going on a big tangent. So I would say Solinco, Whiteouts, Extremes, and you could maybe throw in Technifiber as a whole and Yonex VCore 95. That's my opinion. I have not ever strung this racket before, so don't want to F it up. Gravity MP, but customized stock it's but you can make it a great racket with a little weight in the handle plus some weight on 3 and 9. I can respect that. I can respect that. I think for some people the gravity is pretty unreal. I think for some people it is the For me, I actually enjoyed playing with the Gravity MP with some weight, but I actually got too much power out of it, which is surprising. But what would you say be the best approach to pursuing college tennis if you live at a boarding school? Like, I'm assuming like you mean like a private school, right? So like, hopefully you play tennis and everything. I mean, honestly, that's like, you would think, unable to play many USTA tournaments. Ooh. I mean, the way it goes is you need to be able to get your UTR probably to like, I mean, I like to use the phrase anybody can play college tennis because that's kind of true. But that's not true. You can't just pick up a racket and say, hey, I'm going to play college tennis. However, if you're like a 7 UTR, you could find like a really like lower D3. But if you're in that like 7 to 8 UTR range, you could find like some lower D3s for sure. But it's all about getting to that level. So unfortunately, playing tournaments is part of that. Or you can just train your butt off and hope you can do like a Serena and Venus and never play a junior tournament and then be insane and play in a pro tournament and just beat everybody. But that's like 1 in a million. But yeah, it's all about playing tournaments. You gotta train hard. You gotta get to that 7 to 8 UTR at least. 1, 2, 3, 4. So for people that are asking or that are just joining here, we have the Dunlop FX 500 Tour, and this is a racket that I've played with before, but never officially did a review on it. So I'm going to do that up for you guys now. Bring it out on court tomorrow, hopefully. I'm absolutely loving my blade. Coming from a pure Aero 98, so couldn't get more different. But yeah, as you say, everyone's different. Oh yeah, no shade to blade users at all. Yeah, the blade is a great racket. It's a great racket for a lot of people. It's just, and there's a reason why it's a racket that gets sold so much. And there's a reason why it comes back every year. Rackets that come back every year get sold a lot. And that means they're popular. So like, that means it's good. So like, absolutely, there's nothing wrong with the Wilson blade. I just think it's a little overhyped. Like, it's a good racket, but it's maybe not everything that, it's not like it's a magic wand that's going to make you, you know, win everything. Not that there's any racket for that. But like, I think a lot of people wouldn't say that the blade is a sleeper, you know what I mean? Just because everybody knows what it is. Is this my racket? No, this is not my racket. Well, it is mine. It's a new racket. So I guess you could say it is my racket, but I'm just doing it for a demo. Going for a 5 UTR, that's good. Keep working, you'll get there. Takes time, but you have to be patient. Functional tennis saber is the most underrated. Yes, that's actually so true. I actually have my upstairs great little tool. And honestly, I should actually restring that because I think it would be even better with a good string job in it because the strings they send it in are just kind of mid. And yeah, I think it would be good. I played with it for a few months, like before every practice, and like it actually works. Like it's a great training tool aid, you could say. But then I kind of got away from it. What rackets would you say it's good for one-handers? Ooh, that's a good question. I like that one. I mean, it's not fair to me to say that there's a bad racket for a one-hander, but I think a lot of people gravitate toward Wilson and Head mostly But of course, there's still players that use Dunlop, Yonex, Babolat for one-handed backhands. But a lot of people gravitate to the Pro Staff because of Roger, because of Grieger. I would totally agree with that one. From Wilson, if you're like playing a good level, so like a 4.0 or above, or like 6 UTR and above, I would say from Wilson, you could go with the Blade series or the Pro Staffs. What else does Wilson have there? You could try the Shift. From Babolat, you would definitely go with a Pure Strike or like their Pure Strike VS. I don't know if I would give a Pure Drive a try. I know like there's players that play with Pure Drives and Puros that have one-handers. I know people that do, but like it just isn't a one-handed backhand racket, if you know what I'm saying. So that's from Babolat. From Yonex, I would definitely say V Core 95 or the Percept line. From Head, you could play with the Extreme Tour, Radicals, maybe the Booms, maybe. This is like if I had a one-hander, what I would play with. I would be trying to stay away from rackets that are probably 100 square inches, just because, I don't know, that's just kind of what people normally do. Dunlops, you could do the CX series, that would work well. I'm probably forgetting a brand or something, but I'll be good. Jeremy, you're poking the bear, man. You're poking the bear. Before I get to that. Currently in the process of looking for a new racket. Any recommendation? 6 CTR, aggressive baseline, are coming from a long history of Pro Staffs. More recently, Gravity Pro, Break Pro, 6-1. So you definitely had your fair share with Wilson. Maybe it's time to try Head out more in depth, or you could try Pure Strike. The Percept line or the V Core 95 is also a nice one to try as well. Am I happy that Andy Murray switched to Yonex? Ladies and gentlemen, I have no comment about that. No further comments. No further comments. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole right now. It makes me really sad. As I said about 20 minutes ago, Andy Murray is my favorite player and has been for the last few years. Ever since probably 2017. I really started liking Andy Murray in 2017. Or actually, that's a lie. 2019, because that's when his documentary came out. Really liked him after the documentary came out. And I'm sad. I'm very sad that he changed to Yonex. No shade to Yonex, people, but Andy Murray was a GOAT when he was playing in his prime with Head. People will remember Andy with that Radical. But no, in all seriousness, I'm sure it was actually a good switch with him. He was playing with an old racket, like an old Prestige PT57A customized, and he's older, probably needs some more power now, and honestly, it's a good switch for him, so. I just wish he was able to work it out with Head, because Yonex, like, that's a huge switch. But you know what? He's a beast. He can do whatever he wants. And honestly, he still has my respect, for sure. So I'm still on the Andy Murray bandwagon forever. Thank you for the advice. I'm sitting at around 8 UTR, playing number 2 singles, and playing opponents between 7-10 matches. Don't count for UTR though. That is too bad. That is okay. Try and play in matches that can count for UTR. That's my first little advice for you. And try some of those rackets. I think, or no, you were not the person who was asking about the rackets. after streaming my Radical and then looking at this racket, man, the spaces in between the grommets are huge. Like this is like a pure drive kind of comparison in a way from the Dunlop. I mean, if you want to have a pure drive from Dunlop, this is probably where you go. The man, the myth, the legend is here. Also attentive first ever rackets. Head just doesn't make any good power frames. That is true. Guys, Beckett just knows. That's why I said that I'm okay that Andy left. If you went to Wilson, guys, that would just be a huge violation. Like, let's be real. Like, come on. Andy Murray to Wilson, man, I would break this racket tomorrow if he was playing Wilson. No chance. Guys, everybody say hi to Beckett. He's a goat. We all love our fellow tennis Canada YouTuber. Or I should say fellow Canadian tennis YouTuber. Frick. This racket is so weird. Are you saying the head instinct isn't the goat of rackets? I am definitely. That's a good one. I'm not a head instinct fan, even though my sister used to use it back in the day, and Sharapova, and some other legends, I'm sure. I'm not an instinct fan. Actually, Carew made a video when he demoed he did like a video like 2 or 3 years ago. It was like on like all heads MP rackets or something like that, or I don't know, something similar like that. And he came to like the instinct or whatever. You guys can look up the video. And he just threw the racket in the trash. So that tells you everything you need to know about the head instinct. Instinct is good. I forgot everyone. Yeah, guys. Buy on tennis on. Beckett is distracting me, guys. I'm messing up on my mains. Come on. Here we go. I'm back on track. Yeah, he threw that shit. He did. He definitely did. It was so funny as well. Yeah, Kurt's a legend. Meeting him in person was honestly so good. Like, what a beast. He's so real too. Like, when I played the tournament in Cali, like, he came right up behind me. He was like, "Hey, how's it going?" I was like, "Oh damn, the legend is here." He's a real one too. Man, this racket is so weird. Goes right up to the end here. Who do you think will win Roland Garros? Man, what was I listening to yesterday? It was a video, I think. I think it was Andy Roddick has his podcast. I don't know if you guys know it, but it's a good one. It's called Served or something. Anyway, I listened to it. It's funny. And he was saying it's the first time at like the French Open that like he's picking the field against like the big four, or the top 4 guys in the world, or top 5 or whatever. And I would have to agree with him. Like Novak is not primed up. Rafa is absolutely not primed up. Carlos is hurt. Yannick is now hurt. Sasha just won Rome, but is the biggest choker of all. No offense to my Sasha fans, but like it's just a fact. Dominic Thiem doesn't know how to play tennis anymore. All the clay quarters that used to be able to grind back in like 2020, 2019, 2018 are all like retiring now. Like Thiem and Schwartzman, like all those guys. I mean, like, you could easily have like a guy come out of nowhere and just win. If there's going to be a year, it's that year. Right now, like, I don't have a pick. If I had to pick somebody from the top, it would be Jannik Sinner. I just don't know about Novak right now. Like, you never count Novak out, and you honestly should never count Rafa out, but just, like, I don't know, like, from what I've seen, it's just hard for me to pick Rafa right now. Like, it's just the way it is. Cruz, such a good ball striker. He's got a. You should collab on a video. Well, it is my intention to do so, and I mean, there's not. I don't think I actually can't see how many people are on here because I just have the comments all like zoomed in on my computer right now. But it's. I can tell you that it's kind of supposed. I gotta be careful how I word it. It was supposed to happen, but then Carew was destroying on the Challenger Tour. Let's just say that. And now I can't get this straight. There we go. Yeah, we were supposed to do a video actually together, but he started tearing it up. So hopefully we can reconnect and make it happen. But yeah, that's kind of all I can say, or all I will say. You guys crack me up, man. This is insane. Bro. Bruh. Man, my hands are sweating. I can't get this through this grommet, man. New rackets are awful for that. The grommets are not in mid-season shape. Or used, you could say. Bruh, I'm a rookie here. I think Beckett might have taken off, guys. The legend. Gone but never forgotten. Here I am. Still can't get this string through this grommet, guys. It's a sad time. Come on. It'll come. Here we go. Aha. Still ain't working, bro. My awl is broken, so it's not a great success here. There we go. Should work now. There we are. Sorry, guys. Any stringers you'd recommend for a beginner? Any stringers or as far as stringers? I think you mean like, oh, stringers. I thought you were talking about like a racket to like send to somebody so they can like string it for you. a drop weight. There's drop weights that you can buy that are like $300 or something. There's like, you definitely can do it. But if you're willing to spend a bit more money, then like you could, I think they're maybe close to $1,000, like what I have. I was lucky because I got mine used, but yeah. Just look on Tennis Warehouse, and then if you're not from the US, then you can just buy it from somewhere else probably. That's a YouTube short right there. We're gonna have to clip that. Somebody clip that. Can you clip that? The string just died. We don't talk about that. Bruh. We don't talk about that. The string just snapped. Well, this is going to be a zoom of a... Well, you guys can hang out with me a little bit longer. How about that? I was actually just pulling the string on the knot with my, it's the first time that's happened to me in probably like 4 or 5 years. Well, it's a good thing I got lots of string here. Well, we ain't gonna mess around, folks. I'm gonna go speedy here on these. How did it happen? I don't know. I actually don't know. I was just pulling the knot. Normally it happens if you pull tension on the knot from like this part, but like that's not really recommended. But yeah, that was a doozy. That was a doozy. It's okay. Happens. First time it's happened in a long time to me. We'll just pick up the pace here and try and get back to where we were. So yeah, it looks like you guys can stick around a little bit longer because I would have been on the crosses here by now, but I mean, it's not like I have much to do tonight anyway, so you guys can just hang out a little longer. I will just pick up the pace though, that's all. Normally I'm stringing rackets, honestly, in between 20 and 25 minutes, but like when I obviously have you guys on here, I really slow down to talk and stuff. Is that Super Tour I'm using? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Whenever I test rackets, I always put my string in it so I can get the best feel. Except if I feel like I play with a racket that needs to be toned down. For example, Babolat Pure Aero Origin review coming out tomorrow. I actually did not play Super Tour with that. I played Confidential. I'm thinking that I only may have lost 5 minutes here by the time I finish this main. I really hope I can clip that. I should be able to. You should do a YouTube short with that clip. I will do that. I will do that. One sec, guys. I'm sure there's something there, but I'm just trying to catch up a tiny bit. Okay. Hey Kate, 29 years old, rec player here. Is there any mobility routines or stretches you would recommend to help achieve a full range of motion on my serve? I did do a mobility routine. Holy crap, that video is so old though. I did it when I first started the channel. If you scroll or just look up MP tennis mobility or something, it should come up. It's so good. I would suggest doing that one because on your serve you need to use all of your body. But also I would suggest doing like some joint rotations for your upper body to loosen up your shoulder. Yeah, just making sure your whole body is loose is very important in general. If you're tight in one area, that will limit you. Guys, I got one string left and then I'm back to where I was. Alright, we're back to where we were here. We are back. Thank you, thank you. My college season is done, but my outdoor Canada swing is just beginning. So thank you, thank you. Appreciate that. Okay guys, this is the moment of truth. Hopefully it doesn't happen again here. I think I might just quit. Do like a little rage quit. And the string is having a really hard time getting through these grommets, so that's frustrating. Alright. I think I'll stick around in New Hampshire after college. Good question. Initially, no. That's the game plan for now. Initially, I will not. But I think I could return in the future. Maybe I would get an opportunity or something to work at the school in athletics or something. I would consider doing that. Guys, you get it. Had to do a quick turnaround there. Made it happen, but we're here. We did it. Oh. The people that are still hanging out, you guys are troopers here, staying around through the thick and the thin here of me stringing this friggin' racket here. Been a little bit of a rough go there with that air. It's the first time I've ever strung this racket too, so. Doing the knot now, so hopefully this is not screwed up or anything. All right, chilling there. I probably, in hindsight, could have strung the racket a little bit tighter because it's a pretty open bed. But all good. It's a really true test, I guess, to put it at 50 pounds. Whenever a little incident happens like that with the mains where you can't do anything about it, I always get like this PTSD that it's gonna happen again and like I'm just gonna be here all night. It normally doesn't, and if it does, that probably just means I'm a horrible stringer. I'm pretty confident in my stringing abilities, to be honest, but there is times where it happens and it sucks. I actually think what happened was I was poking inside of the grommet and I poked the string with this and I might have sliced it a bit and then it became weaker when I was pulling the knot and it just snapped. It probably would have snapped anyway on court really quick with the pressure and everything and the tension. So it's honestly good that it broke here on the stringer instead. So. Where is everybody tuning in from tonight? I know some people, or I know some people personally that have been on tonight, but is everybody residing in North America or are they from elsewhere in the world? It would be pretty late over in Europe and also in other parts of the East, at least from North American standpoint. Us in Canada right now, we have a holiday tomorrow, so I'm not sure what other people's schedules look like, but us and I think, well, actually all Commonwealth countries might have a day off tomorrow. But it is later. Normally I'm not doing the streams late like this. Well, I'm doing them in the evening, but we're hitting like 10 o'clock here my time, which is normally I'm done by then. But we did have a little error. Still have some people on here. It's tough for me to see tonight because I don't what do you call it? I don't have my phone. I'm just looking off the computer tonight, so I don't actually see how many people are in here at all at any point. So if there's people still here, thanks for sticking around. If there's people not in here, or if there's people are here, or sorry, not in here, thanks for staying for as long as you did. Hopefully I'm able to try some more of the Dunlop stuff actually. I know I have tried this one in a video before, which was like my Racket bracket video. But like I said, it was customized. But I would love to try the CXs down the line. And also the SXs. Somebody, or actually it was Jeremy that asked earlier about sleeper rackets. The SX line is not a sleeper. I actually don't think it's that good from what I've heard. But like, it would just be interesting just to like try those rackets because we don't see many videos or reviews in general about them. So it would be interesting for sure. I actually think this Dunlopper that I have right now is going to be an absolute rocket launcher tomorrow. It's just, the Super Toro is not super stiff, so it's on the softer side, and this racket is really power oriented. Or, sorry. I'm more, at least for me, power oriented compared to most rackets. But also, I would love to get my hands on the Percept, I think it's 100D. That's the racket that Karun has been using for the last while. But I think he's going to go back to his 95 if I was listening correctly and following correctly to some YouTube shorts and reels, I think. But that looks like a pretty solid racket. There's a lot of good rackets though. I mean, there's, like I've said before, there's not really any bad racket anymore. any bad string. It just comes down to a lot of preference. Like, no, my computer is still working. Do people? It is still working. It's not dead yet, guys. It's good. It's good. I have a V-Core 100 and I like the hybrid. Oh, here we go. Oh my god, you guys were commenting and they weren't loading. Frig. Apologies. Somebody's from Colorado, sorry. Fishing and tennis, attaboy. Where in Canada are you? I'm from northern Michigan initially, so I'm essentially Canadian. Nah, don't do me like that. You gotta be from the Canadian territory, or as Jeremy would say, igloos, to be a true Canadian. But no, I know what you're saying. You're from northern United States. What string would you recommend for V-Core 100? I see Jeremy has his answer in there. That's a good person to ask. He uses that racket. I agree with his statement. I would say a stiffer poly in general would work well. Those rackets are extremely power and spin oriented. You could try my Super Toro, but I think it might be a little too much. But I would say like a Confidential would work well, an RPM Blast would work well, Tour Bite, Hyper G, even like a Wasabi would maybe work well. His perceps have cracks in them, so he's using, that's why. I know he did a live stream about it, but I just haven't had any time really until today to actually like look at stuff and do stuff for MP Tennis. But the next video coming out, like I said, is a Pure Arrow video. And then we should have some tour line stuff coming on down the line. Then some reviews followed by some coaching stuff. Maybe we'll get some match play in there or something from this summer, but it's always tough to do that. Cameras and recording and sun and angled footage and uploading it to Swing Vision, because recording a match is kind of stupid if you don't put it in Swing Vision for YouTube, I think. But yeah. I've got to show you how wide the squares are and thick the squares are on this racket. Like, Pure Arrows and Pure Drives are generally pretty wide, but this thing is friggin' huge. And the grommets are also finicky. At the moment, I'm using Wasabi Pro Hybrid. I mean, that's not a bad setup, but you could definitely try some other things. There's plenty of strings options out there if you were not loving your tour line. But that setup doesn't sound bad. But would love to hear more suggestions, because it was one. Yeah, I mean, just the ones that I said would probably work well. Have I tried strings? Yes. Restring Sync I did a review on. Restring Zero. Right here. That's coming soon. That's another video that I just forgot to mention. Got to do that video. The reviews are honestly endless. Like, there's always going to be another MP Tennis review. But like, MP Tennis is not a review channel. It's more about me and like my journey as a tennis player and like how to get better in a way. You know what I mean? And then I bring you guys along the ride. That's essentially what I'm doing. I'm bringing you along the ride. In the early days, it was about making college tennis and showing people what we did during COVID. And then it evolved to doing a little bit of coaching, telling people about my junior career. And then it became, you know, a little bit of a mishmash because I made college. I played college for the last 3 years. Then we got a little bit bigger, started doing reviews. People will send me stuff. People really love to be in the know about all that stuff. Then I was really doing some stuff about like my personal gear and stuff. People love that. And now it's just a little bit of everything, which is kind of cool. But yeah, taking you guys along for the ride is pretty much the summary of the channel. Gotta go. Much love, man. Keep up the content. Make sure to ask Beckett about the bald cap thing. I'd like a VT YouTube short from him showing proof. Shit looks fake to me. LOL. I don't know what you're referring to. Sorry, I'm a little slow. V-Core 95, 6 grams, 3 and 9, 2 and 12. Good setup. Any personal recommendations? I think for the V-Core 95 to play well at a higher level, absolutely got to add weight to that thing. I think I did, if I remember correctly, when I demoed it. I mean, you gotta. Like, some rackets, you just gotta add weight. Like, they just won't perform. And, like, that's the thing with Alcaraz. People are saying he's using the VS, like, stock. And here's the thing, like, he probably is, and like, I don't think they would lie, and people have seen his racket before, but he's using a pro stock mold of it. And like, what does that mean? It means that the material that is made with that racket is like spot on. Like, the material is better. Like, if I'm a pro player and Dunlop sends me 10 rackets before the US Open versus this Dunlop right here, like, the material, it's like, it's the same thing they do with balls. Like, this morning, I went to a local retailer and I picked up Wilson US Open balls. Last week, I played in the NCAA Championships and used Wilson US Open balls. I'll tell you that the Wilson US Open NCAA balls that I used last week were way better than the ones that I used this morning. Same can, same brand, but when they're for special events or for special people, like, the racket is just, it's just better. Like, I bet you Carlos's VS is so nice, and it probably is like the same weight and everything that you can get off the shelf, but the material has got to be a little bit better, or they definitely like fine-tune the crap out of that. There's just no way. There is no way that Carlos Alcaraz can go down the street to a Tennis Warehouse or a Tennis Warehouse Europe or some racket store and pick up VS off the shelf and play with it with his strings. No chance. The material that they would use for his racket has got to be way better or higher quality. It would feel different. The feel would be way different. That's just my opinion, and I'm really convinced on that. But yeah, like I said, it's the same for balls. I don't think the difference on strings is as much as rackets and balls. Best round poly. That's a tough one. There's so many good ones out there. Like, frig. I honestly, you stumped me on that one. There's so many good strings. Like, yeah, I actually don't know. I play with shaped poly, so I'm like not a big expert on the round poly department. But yeah, there's so many good strings now. And like, honestly, I feel like there's more shaped polys nowadays than there actually are round polys. I could be wrong though. But yeah, sorry, that's really bad of me to not be able to recommend. I wouldn't even know where to begin. I mean, Wasabi X is solid, but like Hyper G Round is like good too. Like there's so many strings. And like I don't really play with the round strings that often. Have you ever used Technifiber 4S? I'm assuming that's a string. No, I have not. The only Technifiber string I ever used was their Triax, and that's like a multi. You're saying it's the worst string. Is the black coats squared? Yeah, I actually don't know. I've never played with any Technifiber string, like I said. I do not know. I heard black coat is really good though. A lot of people love that string actually. So on the last one here, guys, wrapping her up. If you have a question, get it in there because I'll be tying this off and then I gotta go to bed. I'm so tired. Oh, it was a question. Sorry. Yeah, no, I don't know. I'm sure if you looked up on Tennis Warehouse, you would find out. Or Tennis Nerd definitely would have made a video about it for sure. Black coat is like a fairly popular string. I just haven't. It's just one of the strings that I just never had a chance to demo. Best racket for big servers? Depends what kind of player you are. If you want to get like a huge monster serve, like all you care about is power, you can absolutely hit the crap out of the ball with like a pure drive. You can hit the crap out of a pure drive. The Raffle Origin that I played with yesterday, you can hit the crap out of that. But then if you want like some control, like I also think that a Wilson blade is very popular for a lot of people. Actually, this Dunlop FX 500 would probably work pretty well for a big serve. If you're just looking for big power, big spin. The Pure Arrow would, like in general, would probably work fine for big power. But for big spin, I would say, or sorry, for like big control, sorry, Blade, Radical, Gravity would probably be not bad as well. Actually, I take that back. Gravity's a little hard to move overhead, at least in my opinion. Yonex rackets, like an E-zone, a lot of big servers use E-zones. But yeah, Blade is very popular. Pro staff, I mean, there's a lot of rackets. There we go, guys. I will actually leave it on the stringer while I just kind of move over here because I want to show you guys how big the squares are in this racket. Oh. But if you're going to have a question, throw it in there because I'm going to just clean up here real quick. All right. Any college players right now think is going to be in top 100 in maybe 5 years? Ooh. I mean, yeah, I think so. I mean, it happens. I saw, who did I see play? I saw Cooper Williams play from Harvard. He could do it maybe. He's pretty talented, pretty gifted. There's a lot of guys, man. Ethan Quinn, I think, is done now. I don't know. I'm brain farting here. There's a lot of guys that are the top 10 D1 schools that could definitely do it. They just got named, you know, like they're just good players. I'm going to show you guys how wide the square is here. That's pretty wide. Like, that's nuts. There's that. And then look at this. This is the Radical. I don't know if you guys can see the difference there, but this is very big, and then this is much tighter. But yeah, how would I put this? Normally I'm not taking this off, but anyway, that's gonna be it, guys. I hope you guys have a good evening, and thanks for sticking around. A little bit shaky tonight. The camera work was a little rough at the start, a little rough at the end. And yeah, we frigged up big time there on the string tonight. A little bit of a rookie mistake, but it's all good. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for hanging out, and more of these lives to come because we got some reviews to come. So see you later.